$25,000. And the bill that we have is one that would require the Secretary of Labor to adjust that cap annually. The advantage to doing that, there's two advantages. One, you'll keep up with the cost of living. And number two, you're going to take that whole issue out of the political process.
Yes.
Because 22 years is too long of a delay for the legislature to address the cap. And in real terms, I brought a list of things that I wanted to read to you. In '87, a first-class postage stamp was 22 cents. Today it's 42 cents. In 1987, the non-agricultural wage per hour was $9.14. Today it's $17.41. In 1987, the federal minimum wage was $3.35 per hour. Today it's $7.25 per hour. In 1987, an 18-ounce box of Kellogg's Corn Flakes cost $1.48. Today, a 12-ounce box costs $3. In 1987, a 20-ounce package of Nabisco Oreo cookies cost $2.49. Today, an 18-ounce package costs $4.29. If you were in Topeka in 1987 and you went to a movie matinee out at Gage Theater, the ticket was $2.25. Today, Gage Theater is closed, and the ticket cost $7.25. In 1987, a new car was $10,000. The average price for a new car was $10,400. Today, that price is $22,651. And finally, in 1987, my base legislative salary was $55 a day. Today it's $86.50. In 1987, the cap on permanent total was $125,000. Today, it's $125,000. So adjusted by the Secretary in today's dollars, if that cap is adjusted as the bill requires, the cap would be closer to $300,000. And even that is too low in my opinion. But at least if we can pass this bill, we will have made some pretty significant progress in the lives of a lot of people and their families. I know I've got a commitment from David Wysong, who's the chairman of the Commerce Committee, that we will have the hearing on Tuesday, and then they're going to take final action on Wednesday. And I'm very hopeful that the committee will pass that bill out, and I believe this year is the time that we can pass it out of the Senate and get it through the legislature. So it's a very important issue. We've made some pretty significant progress in the Senate. As was mentioned earlier, and I mentioned last night, Senator Francisco did an outstanding job in leading through the minimum wage bill. The first bill that I introduced in 1977 was a bill that actually established the state's minimum wage for the first time. It was House Bill 2110. Bob Bennett signed it into law a year later, in 1978, and we established the minimum wage at $1.60 per hour in 1978. 10 years later, we increased it to a whopping $2.65 an hour. And as Jim pointed out, that's the lowest minimum wage in the country. And now this bill will raise it to the federal level of $7.25 an hour. And you think, who does this apply to? Well, according to the Secretary of Labor, it applies to approximately 17,000 to maybe 20,000 people, typically wait staff in small-town cafes, where they will make that, plus they get tips. So it is time that we get, with the 21st century, and that we actually do tie it to the federal minimum wage. And I'm hopeful that Paul Davis and the House Democrats are going to be able to leverage that and be able to get that passed through the Senate, or through the House. So I want to thank you for everything you do. I've always said that one of the greatest, I think, labels that can be given, we're given a lot of labels, one of the greatest labels that can be given anybody in public service is to be called a friend of labor. And I've been given that label through the years, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.